Hi ladies, good afternoon. It is Sarah Shipton here from Scrapbooking with Sarah, and I'm coming live to you today on May 26 with this week's Technique Tuesday. Now, I know we've got a little bit of glare here with the camera today. It is a very overcast day where I live, and I've been out all morning in appointments, and unfortunately the lighting is not great in my office at this time of day. So I do have an overhead light on. However, this glare will go because I will be removing the scrapbooking layout from the memory protectors. But I just wanted to start by showing you the layout in their memory protectors with the flip flaps on. Okay, so this layout, I'll run through the pattern and the paper dimensions with you shortly. These photos were actually taken on a trip to Mexico. And we did a day trip to Chichen Itza, which are the big pyramids there in the Yucatan region. And we stopped at this gorgeous little colonial Spanish heritage type town called Valladolid. And so isn't it just beautiful? This church is gorgeous. I love taking photos of buildings and architecture when I travel. Someone actually said to me, do your kids want all your travel photos when you die? And I'm like, this is why quite often I will always have photos with my buildings and architecture. I will try to have Darren and myself in the photos as well. I mean, it's a good point. It's a valid point. But this is the beauty about scrapbooking, right? My grandfather instilled the love for the photo and the story in me. And that is something that I am now, I have passed on to my next generation of scrapbookers. And as many of you know, my daughter, Kayla, who is 24 years of age, scrapbooks with me now, and she makes her own albums. So no, I do not think my children are going to get rid of all of my scrapbooks when I die one day. I think that they will have these beautiful memories of photos and stories and just go, oh my gosh, my parents were just living their best lives. And I hope that inspires my kids to live their best lives as well. Okay, so enough of the story behind the photos. Mel has joined us today. Hi, Mel. Thanks for joining in live. I also wanted to say a big thank you to all of you for your patience with me this last week. As many of you know, I was rushed in for emergency surgery last week, and I was out of my business for about 4 days afterwards and had to reschedule my, cancel my workshops last week on Friday. So a big thank you to my beautiful ladies for being patient with me, and I apologize that I was not feeling up to doing them and still recovering. And many of you know I leave on Friday for the Stampin' Up! Incentive trip to Alaska. So I am very busy behind the scenes in my office this week. I'm back on deck and I'm getting some fun things planned for you all. So there will be lots of layouts scheduled for you to enjoy in my absence. And I hope that you all continue to cheer each other on with your scrapbooking endeavors and layouts in my absence for June. All right, so let's get to this week's pattern. We are creating pattern 5D, and it is from, it's on page 71. It's from the Reflections Scrapbook Program. I've pulled an old scrapbooking book, how to program pattern book off my shelf, and we're getting back to basics with our scrapbooking. So what I have done here is I've recreated this single page layout into a double page, and instead of using one large 6 by 8 inch photo, as you can see here in the master pattern, I've actually opted for a combination of the alternate pattern on the left and then the alternate pattern on the right. And I've done this because I had a combination of portrait and landscape photos I had printed from this time in Valladolid. And let me grab the, the memory protector here with these other photos on the top. So I had a couple of landscape photos, and then this was portrait, but I actually cut it down. These are these cute little love seats that you can sit in. They've been there for like ever. They're actually like a to-do thing on TripAdvisor. You sit in like these little S-shaped, they're concrete, like cement. You sit in these little S-shaped love seats and you face each other, and it's like something that the Mexicans did like back in the day when you were like courting someone. I just think it's so cute. I love that so much. I think it's amazing. So of course we had to sit in the little love seats. Aren't they the cutest thing ever? So you know, when I'm traveling or when I'm out and about and taking photos, like I just take photos of everything, but I love to take photos of things that you can learn about or I can learn about and share with people, you know, looking at my scrapbooks. Stories and journeys behind the photos I think is really cool, right? And so, you know, that's why I take photos of those kind of crazy things. But it's all amazing. And sorry, I was a little distracted then. My office looks outside my front garden and someone walked past and let their dog do their business on my front lawn and then just keep walking. So yay, that's fun. Okay, Sarah, focus, right. So let's get back to the pattern dimension. Right, so I've got an assortment of these 4x6 inch portrait photos here, and then I've got the alternate layout with the 3x4 inch photos here. So I love that. Think about the orientation of your photos. Think about how many you want to get onto the layout. Don't forget that you can incorporate flip flaps, as I have done. I've used a 3x4 inch flip flap on the right hand side, and then a 4x6 inch flip flap on the left hand side as well to get a couple of extra photos on my layout. So let's start with the paper dimensions. You're going to need 2 sheets of 12x12 inch either designer series paper or cardstock as your base layout for your scrapbook page. Then you're going to need another 2 pieces of either cardstock or designer series paper, and you're going to cut this piece here at 10 by 10.5. Now I have stuck my photos straight over that 10 by 10.5. There was a layout that we did earlier this month with this same sort of front and center pattern where I actually cut 1/2 inch here and then cut here, but that was because I was using designer series paper. When it's cardstock, I'm kind of like, I don't care, I can't be bothered. I'm just going to stick it down and put my photo straight out of cardstock. The other reason why I couldn't be bothered is, can you see how this, oh, let me turn that over, that's the wrong pattern. This 10 by 10.5 inch piece of cardstock is actually stuck over the top of my designer series paper. So you might be thinking, oh my gosh, like you've covered that whole, 12 by 12 inch sheet of paper with cardstock. Well, I did a little bit of math. The math was mathing, girls. And I have cut out a square on the inside here. So this was the other reason I couldn't cut this cardstock down. I actually put adhesive on the inside of this bit of designer series paper, and then I stuck my cardstock over the top. So I needed that little bit of extra backing as well. Now, the reason I've done that is that I absolutely love this pattern. These dainty little flowers are just to die for. And I love the gold foil that is running through them as well. And so these are from the new Heirloom Boutique Sweet Collection, these papers. This is a specialty designer series paper because it's got these little gold foils running through them. Now, this Sweet Collection features our 5 new ink colors. And in fact, I've got the ink pads here. So it features all of these 5 new ink colors. These ink colors are going to be around for the next 2 years, right? So as you know, I feature like a scrapbooking workshop kit and then a paper suite all through the month. Because these feature the ink colors, that's why I started with this suite with the new catalog we launched in May. But because they feature the 5 new ink colors, I will be able to continue to create with this suite for the next 2 years because there will be other designer series papers, other scrapbooking workshop kits are going to come out and they're going to feature these 5 new colors. So I will be able to pair up these papers, this suite, with any future suites or designer series papers we might have. Okay. So of course I want to best utilize my very pretty designer series paper. Now, while I've got this turned over, you will note that with this specialty designer series paper on one side, you'll see the gold foil. On the other side, it's just going to be plain. So you're not going to have gold foil on both sides, which is really great. Okay. So that is literally it for your papers. You've got your 12 by 12 base. You've then got these 2 larger pieces cut at 10 by 10.5. Now, as you can see here, there is a section where you can cut a 6 by 4 inch piece of designer series paper or cardstock, and you can pop this in here. You can see that in the layout here, the artist has used this as her journaling space. I actually replaced that with a photo. So if you want to pop on a 6x4 inch piece of pattern paper, that's totally fine. Replace it with a photo. You could put 2 3x4 inch photos here instead. The choice is yours. You could leave it blank if you want, and you could just literally journal straight onto the cardstock. But I have actually included another photo here. And in fact, I've actually put my journaling box over here. Now, there is no cutting dimensions for the journaling box here on the design. I've just made this up myself. And let me just grab my ruler. I'm going to be using this today. I made this layout, obviously, some time ago. Did I cut that 3 1/4? Okay, right. So the base of my journaling box is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then the actual journaling box itself, I've cut out in Barely Blush. That is cut at 3 by 4. Okay, so if you want to just maybe jot those measurements down for your journal box, 3 by 4 here, and then 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So much similar to using a photo and then having a photo mat underneath. Now, I've popped my journal box up with some Stampin' Dimensionals. So that just pops. And I've actually used some of the new, this is another designer series paper pack, but it's pearlized. It's pearlized paper. So I actually got that here with me, and I'm going to bring that into view in the camera so you can have a close-up look of that. But I've actually cut out my letters using the Party Alphabet dies. I know these are a big investment, these dies, but let me tell you, you are going to use them again and again and again. You are absolutely going to get your money's worth out of them. Save up your stamping rewards, use them to cut out. I use them all the time to create my own custom titles for my scrapbooking. The big letters obviously fill a lot of space. And then I've got this super cute little embellishment cluster down the bottom here with some stickers and some of the in-color dots. So all of the new in-colors feature in these dots pack. No shortage of those. So when I created my journaling box for my mat as well, I've used that pearlized paper. Can you see how it's like shimmering in the light there? I love it. And then when I make my own journal boxes, I just rule my lines at 1/4 inch inside using my journaling pen. And then journal in the journal box. Not a lot of embellishment here. You've got this beautiful little sticker embellishment here. But the thing I love about these dainty flowers, because the design is such a small pattern with the floral dainty flower focus, you really don't need a lot of embellishments on your layout in terms of like massive sticker clusters and stamping and die cutting, because the paper does it for you, right? So I do love that. And this little dainty floral pattern is actually trending at the moment in the paper crafting world. So that's super fun. And then we've just got another little sticker here, which I've dated. I've got the date here. And that is it. Now, the technique I'm featuring for this week, I don't know if you can see this in the camera. It is barely there. And in fact, when I went to do this, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do for my technique? I was like, is it the pearlized paper? Well, I'm going to show you that anyway. And I was like, oh, the new white gel pens. I want to use the new white gel pens. But I'd already made my selection of papers before I decided that my technique was going to be using the white gel pens, right? So you can barely see the white gel pens because this is Barely Blush. And this is the original side of the color cardstock. So if you were to turn that over, as you can see, it's even lighter still, okay? It's barely there. So what I have done is actually created an embellishment border around the inside of my Barely Blush cardstock using the new white gel pens, and I can't wait to show them to you today. So I'm just going to bring my Versamat into range here. Now, I actually want to demonstrate them on this cardstock color because this is the new Peaceful Pine. And when I went to on stage in Sydney for our annual Stampin' Up convention, we had a little like crafting breakout sessions, and this was actually what I did in that breakout session. And no wonder they gave us Peaceful Pine because it shows up really, really well on this darker cardstock, okay? So we did some little pen art here, some little squiggling, And I just want to go through and show you, in fact, this is A4 cardstock. I can feel it's not two-tone. I can feel the thickness of this cardstock is thicker than our two-tone cardstock. So I just want to, I love my Versamat so much. I really, really wish that Stampin' Up! Had a product like this. We have just brought out grid paper. Actually, I've got some here. We have just brought out grid paper, which you can use for your artwork. It's got inches on one side and then the other measurement sizes on the other side. So you definitely can use your grid paper. I just love my mat. I can't help it. I love that mat so much. I'm never giving it up. Now, I want to start by saying I have used gel pens before many, many times for journaling, for pen art, for these decorative border techniques. And let me tell you, these white gel pens are not like other white gel pens I've used before. They actually flow really nicely. The ink does not kind of like stop, start in between. And I don't know why I'm trying to like measure that up so much. It really doesn't matter. The ink doesn't stop and start in between. And it is a 1.0 pen nib, which is a little thicker than, oh, that lid's not going to stand there, than the other journaling pens. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to line this up. That's why I was wanting to line that up, Sarah. I like to use my ruler. Okay, and when I do this bordering pen art, I like to kind of leave it so I'm making a square in the corner here. So let's start, no, I don't want to be a 1/4 of an inch down. I actually do mine about 1/8 of an inch down. So 1/8 is 1/2 of a 1/4. I know, right? Who thought that we would be using math in scrapbooking? I was that student at school that when math was not compulsory, I was out, mate. Let me tell you, I was out. So I'm not going to come all the way to the edge. I'm just going to come about 1/8 in, and all I'm doing is just doing this little kind of dash line on my journaling. Oh, that wasn't entirely dry, and I'm going to smudge that just slightly. So about 1/8 of an inch in, and I'm going to meet that up where I started. Sorry, finish that other row. Don't worry if your dashes aren't the exact same measurement the whole way around. Like, girls, there are bigger fish to fry, right? You do not need to worry about that. I know I have some of my beautiful ladies, they'll get their ruler out and they will measure stuff, and that's totally okay. You do you, girl, if that's what is your vibe. But let me just tell you, it is not the end of the world, and no one is getting their ruler out and measuring your dash lines on your scrapbooking. And if they are, well, you know what? They need to find some other fun hobbies to take their mind off those kinds of things. Okay, so all I'm doing here is just rotating that around. I'm using my grid. This is why you need a Versamat, girls. But instead we got grid paper. I love my Versamat because it's 12 by 12. It's perfect. I even have some customers that have 2 Versamats, and they literally have one on the left and one on the right. And they were smart investing in 2 before our Close to My Heart closed. So look at that. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It just turns out so well. Oh, Sarah. It turns out so well. So you could do that technique like with the border art. That could be a journal box now, right? You could even rule your lines. You know what, girls? You could even journal with the white gel pens. Whatever works for you. Sometimes I get a bit bored of using my black journaling pen all the time. And the black journaling pen, I've got mine here. It's actually only a 0.4. It's very fine and it doesn't take long. If you are heavy-handed, it does not take long for that nib to really flatten down. So you can buy these in a 3-pack for, I think they're $17.50. I'm in Australia, by the way, so that is pricing for the South Pacific market. So I would definitely be popping a 2-pack of the white gel pens into your shopping cart. You can get the 2-pack for, I've got it here in the catalogue actually, a 2-pack for $15.75. Obviously they're white and they're an acid-free ink as well. So if you wanted to incorporate these pens into your scrapbooking, feel free to do so. I don't put it over my photos. I would use this for journaling and pen art only, okay? So I'm just going to move these things out of the way. Now, oh, I forgot to mention the ruler. This is a T-square ruler. Now, again, Stampin' Up! Do not sell a T-square ruler. This is one I had left over from my time with Close to My Heart. It is the best thing ever. As you can see, it's magnetic. So if you are a demonstrator watching my video and you would like to see T-square rulers and Versamats in our little product catalogue, please pop it in the suggestion box, because I use my T-square ruler and my Versamat for scrapbooking all of the time. Let's bring these papers into the camera here. So this is the new 2026 to 2028 in colour 12 by 12 inch pearlized specialty paper. Now you only get 5 sheets, guys, so it's only 1 sheet of each of the new in colours. So it's, you would really, like, you're not going to be obviously able to make a double page scrapbook layout with this, because you don't have 2 sheets of each. You've got one of Barely Blush, one of Crisp Cantaloupe, Hydrangea Hue, Peaceful Pine, and then of course the Golden Glow. What I would be using the pearlized paper for is for things like this, okay? Maybe mats for your photos. You might want to use it for cutting out your party alphabet dies. You could use it for strips of paper instead of using, like in this particular instance here. Last week's layout we did, this is a 6-inch strip. So I could use 1 sheet of my pearlized specialty paper, cut it in half, and then I've got 2 pieces, one either side, for a double page scrapbook layout. Now, if you are someone that makes single page scrapbook layouts, this pack will be great for you, because you could use this as your base pages for your scrapbooking layout. So I hope that you have enjoyed our Technique Tuesday today, girls, and seeing a couple of those new products, the white gel pens and the pearlized paper. I am going to take this opportunity to say a very big thank you to all of my beautiful customers and scrapbooking community. If in the 12 months you shopped with me, referred me, shared a reel on my Instagram, thank you, thank you, thank you. I just appreciate your custom and your business and your loyalty and support so much, because if it were not for you and my beautiful Stampin' Up! Team, I would not be heading off on the incentive trip to Alaska on Friday, because I've spoken about that in my video today. I have to add a disclaimer letting you know that only 0.0001% of Stampin' Up! Demonstrators globally, worldwide, earn an incentive trip. So a very big thank you to you all. I cannot wait to see you all when we get back for our first workshops on July 3rd and 4th. If you've not yet booked in, please head to my website, scrapbookingwithsarahshipton.stampinup.net. Head to the events tab and you'll see my calendar there with my events. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned on my socials for all of the fun, exciting things I have scheduled for you in my absence during June. And I cannot wait to see you when I return from Alaska. Bye for now, everyone.